Number 9, that's where we left off on the last problem. I first notice out of this trinomial, negative 24x squared plus 20x plus 100, that they all had 4 in common. I took out a negative 4. You can always divide out positive or negative. You just need to think, what do you want? Now, to do my method of the factoring when the front number is not a 1, so to continue breaking down or factoring 6x squared minus 5x minus 25, you need the front term to be positive. Okay, or it doesn't matter if you choose to do grouping method, but I always find that it's easiest if the front term of the trinomial is positive. So now, if A is 6, B is negative 5, and C is negative 25, you're looking for a combo that multiplies to A times C, right? And that would be 6 times negative 25, which would get us negative 150. That adds to B, so the highlighted trinomial we're breaking down, the B is negative 5. So as I go through my list, I always work the positives first. Look for combos that multiply to 150. Okay, so I know 1 and 150. Okay, even if I make one negative, that's not going to be close to negative 5. Okay, so I go down my list. 2 doesn't go into 150 evenly. 3, no. 4, no. 5, but 5 does. So 5 and 30. But those are still too far apart to get me something with 5, even if 1's negative. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 goes in evenly, so we would have 10 and 15. Now, if I see negatives in a problem, one or both need to be negatives. So if I did negative 10 and positive 15, that would get me positive 5 if I added them, so it can't be that. So if I had positive 10 and negative 15, if I multiply those, I would get negative 150, and if I added them, I would get negative 5. So that's our combo, 10 and negative 15. So again, I'm highlighting the 10 and negative 15 because that goes with this trinomial in yellow that I'm continuing to try to factor and break down. So now I would write x plus 10 x minus 15 and you know if you FOIL this, you don't get 6x squared minus 5x minus 24x. That's what we're trying to break down, right? So that should be a reminder that there's more. You can either group, or I like to go factors over front, simplify something out. So if I put my factors over the front number of this yellow trinomial, the front number is 6, then if I simplify, I would get 10 over 6 simplifies to 5 over 3. 15 over 6, they're both divisible by 3, so I would get 5 and 2. And after you simplify, if there's a denominator left, it comes in front of x, so we would get 3x plus 5. And the 2 comes in front of the x, so I would have 2x minus 5. And notice this yellow again, trinomial, breaks down into 3x plus 5 and 2x minus 5. And if I distributed, I would get 6x squared minus 5x minus 25. And don't forget to bring down that original GCF, which was negative 4, if there is one. So this is our final answer down at the bottom. Again, don't forget you're going to do the even problem, so you'll do number 10. Now I'm going to do number 11. So is there a GCF that we can take out? Yeah, there is. Let's see. We first look for a number and then a variable. I can take out a 2. So then what's left? 2 times what is 2x squared? X squared. 2 times what is negative 6? So it's negative 3. And I need an x and a y. 2 times what is negative 8? Negative 4. And y squared. Notice I couldn't take out a variable because all 3 terms didn't have it in common. So I'm going to highlight the yellow Now I'm looking at this and asking myself, is there a combo that multiplies to a times c that adds to b? So for the yellow, the a is 1, right? B is -3, and c is -4. So a times c would be -4, b is -3. That combo is going to be 1 and -4. Those multiply to -4 and add to -3. So I would have x minus 1. Oh, sorry, x plus 1 was positive. And x minus 4. Now, if we're trying to, if we start to FOIL, we would get x squared minus 3x minus 4. But notice there's y's in there. So I need to throw a y behind those numbers. And if I distribute here, I would get x squared minus 4yx plus yx minus 4y squared. So that would make up my original. And then I bring down my GCF, which I took out in the beginning. And that yellow was this yellow broken down, factored. So I have my final answer. 2 times the quantity x plus 1y times x minus 4y. Okay, so again, I'm doing the odds and you're going to do the evens. For number 13, there's no GCF. Since it's a minus in between difference of squares, I try to take the square root of both. Always look for GCF first though. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 64 is 8. Okay, if you can take the square root of both, then we can use difference of squares if there was a minus in between. So we write x and 8 2 times, and difference of squares, the signs are different. If we FOIL these, we would get the original. Okay, you're going to try number 14. There's no GCF hint, so you're going to then just take the square root of both. Over here, you take the square root of 289, so you're going to get a number, and square root of y squared, you're going to get a y, right? So you're going to get a number and a y over here. Okay, 4 and 49, nothing in common. I see a minus, so let me see if I can do difference of squares. If I take the square root of 4x squared, I look at the number first. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 49 is a 7. Okay, so if you can take the square root of both, then we can do this problem. So we would have this, and our signs are different. Remember, if this original problem had a plus in between, you couldn't do that. And you would notice when you FOIL, when you distribute, it wouldn't make your original. But if you distribute this problem, you would get 4x squared. So 2 times 2 is 4x squared. 2x times -7 would be -14x. 7 times 2 is positive 14x. And 7 times -7 is -49. So since your middle terms cancel, and you combine like terms, you end up with 4x squared minus 49, which is your original problem. You always want to distribute and check, and if it makes your original problem, then you probably factored correctly. Just as a hint, when you do this even one for the last one, you know it should be a hint that maybe I can factor. If originally some people might just try to take the square root of 27 and get a decimal, and they'd be like, nope, can't factor, or square root of 3 decimal, nope, can't factor. That's why for this one, hint, you're going to take out a GCF. Or you always look for GCF first. You're going to write what's left, and then whatever's left, you're going to try to factor that and see what that is. You'll write that answer here, right? Just giving you a hint because this one's a little bit different. All right, parentheses for what was in yellow when you factored what was in yellow, and you're going to bring down whatever you took out in the beginning of the problem, and then that will be your final answer. Okay, remember, try all of the even problems and submit online.